okay, I can do this if with all this beauty and all this love and acceptance and everything. I thought, okay, I can do this. And I wasn't afraid. But when they told me I had died, I looked down the front of me and I could see my hair going down the front of me, and I could see my clothes, and I could see my feet. And I had a body, but it was a light body. It wasn't heavy or weighed down by the trauma of the world or gravity or anything like that. It was very light and very bright, and I was glowing just like everybody else was glowing, but I still had an identity. I was still me. I thought like me, I felt like me, I looked like me, only a better version. We just kept walking through the garden, and I noticed this beautiful, what I call the glorious city. And it was kind of off in the distance to the left a little bit from where I was standing. And there was this golden wall that surrounded the city. And that must have been the barrier. I couldn't go beyond that point. And I saw buildings on the outskirts of the city. And they were made of the most beautiful alabaster, this white marble, and you very intricately carved. And there were archways and columns. I saw a place where babies and children go when they die, and there where I saw children, and there were various ages and stages, and they were running around laughing and playing, and they are cared for by people who have passed on before them, relatives. And then I saw another building, and it kind of looked like a maybe a spiritual hospital of some sort. But outside of this particular building, there were healing pools of what looked like living water. It was for people who had died traumatic deaths, or victims, or people who died very quickly. And I saw this other building, and it looked like this magnificent library. It was full of books from the ceiling to the floor, just a bazillion books on every subject you could possibly want to know. And the inside of that building looked like it had this deep, rich mahogany bookshelves and ladders that you could move around, that you could climb up to get the books on the top. I mean, it was huge. And I called it the Hall of Knowledge, but I'm not sure if that's what it was really called. And then my brothers and I continued walking, and there was a grove of trees over in the corner. People ask me all the time, what were those trees? And I don't know what kind of trees they were, but I saw Jesus coming out of the grove of trees, and he walked up to me. And when he walked up to me, my two brothers disappeared. I have no idea where they went. And so he smiled at me, and I was just in awe of him. He was so beautiful. And he said to me, and this was my first clue that I was going to be sent back, but it went over my head. I didn't pick up on it, but he said to me, I love you. I'm with you. Don't be afraid. And then he walked with me over to this beautiful wooded glen. And there was a stream. And next to the stream, there was a log that was laying down on the ground. And I could see the pine cones and the pine needles. And there were these little blue flowers that were popping up through the pine needles. And I sat down on the log. And when I did, Jesus walks away. And there was a man sitting on the other end of the log. And I knew that man was God.